Hey, what's happening guys? This is Bharat Nagpal for iGendit. And Samsung just announced the Galaxy Note 3, and if you got yourself this beast of a machine, you would want to know how to get this up and running. So here are a couple of tips and tricks to tell you how to get your Galaxy Note 3 up and running. So let's talk a little bit about the specifications of the device before we get into how we're going to get it up and going. So it's got a Exynos 5 chipset. The one available in India has an Exynos 5 chipset. It has a 1.9 GHz quad core along with a 1.3 GHz quad core chipset. So dual chipsets on the inside. You have a nice 5.7-inch Full HD display, 3 gigs of RAM, and a lot going on inside this device. You've got fantastic build quality versus the previous edition. And actually, the perception of the build quality changes. You have a leather finish sort of back panel, which is actually still plastic. You have a new improved 13 megapixel camera at the back, really nice lines, a squarish design, but the essence of the Note remains inside. So let's get on with a quick amount of tips and tricks that'll get you up and running. So let's start off with the Galaxy Note 3's S Pen. So every time you pull out the S Pen, you get this action command or this command menu. So what you want to do is, if you don't want this menu, you can go into Settings, Controls, S Pen, and then pen detachment options, and then choose not to have air command while you're pulling out the pen. So if you set it to none, it will turn it off. So every time you detach your pen, the action command will not open up. So that's one. Another thing that you can do is you can turn off the sounds as well. So if you're in S Pen, you go into pen detachment sounds, you can turn those off so you get a more silent treatment every time you detach and attach your pen. So now the Note 3's biggest feature is the S Pen, and you might lose the S Pen easily because it is something that is not attached to your device and you might leave it on a table and walk away. So the easiest way to remember is to go into Settings, Controls, S Pen once again, and then Pen Keeper. It'll give you a pop-up and a reminder when you walk away from the S Pen, and it'll remind you that you've forgotten your S Pen. So that is something that will come in really handy. So you should always have that on so that your pen is safe, and if you do forget it behind, it reminds you that you have forgotten your S Pen behind. Now you can customize the S Pen's features from the pen menu again. So if you go into Controls, S Pen features, you can turn on these features according to your requirements. Also, if you go into the lock screen settings, you can turn on some of the features for the S Pen on the lock screen. For example, you can turn on action memo on the lock screens. So if I go into the lock screen here and I press on the S Pen button, double tap on the main screen, it'll open up a action memo for me over here, and I can quickly save something or save a number and then dial it from here as well. Now the S Pen has been streamlined into becoming a very unified sort of device. So instead of having lots of gestures and lots of features that can get confusing, Samsung has made the S Pen fairly easy to use. Now if you're in Messages and you're composing a message, you can create attachments by simply hovering the S Pen over the attachment button and pressing the S Pen button. It'll give you a list of your recent files that you can attach into your message or your email address, which is fairly a nice feature. You can also go into most used contacts if you tap your button over here. I don't have any recent contacts over here, but if you do, you press this button, it gives you a list of all the contacts. Similarly, it's similar to the attachment feature over here. Now the action command or the air command feature is really handy. If you're using the S Pen a lot, this feature will come in really handy. So the first thing is the action memo. Pull out the pen, pop it into the action memo, save a memo according to your requirements. You can save phone numbers, email addresses, and then push those over to contacts, etc. So if I have an email address, you can convert that and email this person. So while my handwriting is horribly bad, it tries and get most of the information in there. And it does. It saves that information and you can message or email that person whatever you want. So that's action command, air command with the action memo. The next thing is the scrapbook is really interesting to use. So if you're in a website and you're looking at a web page and you want to save that for later use, it's really easy to sort of document your features or document the things that you really want to watch or read later on. So for example, I have this article on iOS 7 battery drain, and I really want to go back to it once I get back to my iPhone at home. I really need to go and read this article to see how I can save battery life on my iPhone, since that's become a major concern right now. So I just come here, I tap on this, I take the scrapbooker, I select this portion over here, and all it does is it creates a scrapbook entry for me, and I can save it to my own category, which is over here, which is BST, or I can create a category if I want. So let's say I choose this layout and I call it iPhone Tips, and I simply save it to my iPhone Tips scrapbook. So that's the scrapbooker. The third thing we're going to check out is screen write. So it clicks a screenshot of your screen, and it then allows you to write on top of it. So this is the weather, and you can have that information on the screen. I can do whatever I want. I can scribble, I can change the color of the pen to whatever color I want, and I can create annotations on my screen. Can come in really handy for people. I have used this feature on the Note 2 extensively, so this is one of the most handy features of the Note and the S Pen. The third thing we're going to check out is S Finder. So this is something that really helps you find things that you saved on your device. So if you have handwriting or notes or communications, images, etc., you can search through those with the S Finder. You have to document things. You can put in your own tags, etc., with everything, and it helps you go back to all your content. It's really fantastic. It really helps you go through things a lot easier. Now, this is one of the greatest features. It's called Pen Window. All you need to do is simply draw a size of the window that you want, and then pick from a list of applications that you can pull up anywhere within anything. So if you're doing calculations, you can pull out the calculator. You can pull out another window, which can be your YouTube player. So you can have multiple windows running in the same sort of screen, which is really, really fantastic. You can get rid of those. They become sort of chat heads, as they would on Facebook's chat icon. You can pull them back up. If you press the home button, they become chat heads, and you can still have them running around while you do your things, and you can go back to your calculator later on, or you can simply quit it if you don't want it anymore. Now, another cool feature of the Note 3 is the blocking mode. Now, this allows you to block all calls, disable notifications, etc., depending on what you need. You can also turn off the LED indicator. You can also set a time for when the blocking mode is on. So for example, every night before you go off to sleep, you can turn the blocking mode on. So from say 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You can also allow some people to call you. So you can have your favorites call you, or you can have custom contacts be allowed to call you, so that in case of an emergency, they can reach you. It's a really cool feature. You should set it up according to your requirements. Will help you really get through some of the sleep that you need on a day-to-day basis. Now, another thing that's really cool is multi-window. Now, it was first launched with the Galaxy Note 2, I believe, if I can recall correctly. You can simply hold down on the back button to pull and to remove the multi-window feature. It quickly tucks away in the side over here with this small little tab, so you can just tap on that and pull out things that you would want in the multi-window. So for example, if I want a Chrome browser and Facebook, I can have those running together in the multi-window. Now, multi-window has been improved a lot. You can have two apps of the same kind and exchange information between them. I recommend that you play around with these to understand this a lot better. It'll come in really handy for you guys. Now, another thing that I would definitely recommend that you guys do is, instead of the adapt display feature, you should go in for a standard, a professional photo, or a movie mode, because that enables you to look at colors in a better format. Samsung's display over enhances the colors, so the colors seem to be really blown up out of proportion, and if you like that, that's fine. If you don't, then I would recommend that you change the color mode to a sort of subtle, more realistic color mode. It also doesn't take a big hit on the battery, so that's nice. Another thing I would like for you guys to look at is this quick launch, or this quick settings panel that you can customize. So if you pull down with both fingers from the top over here, you can go into this panel, and then you click on the pen, and you can adjust the buttons according to your requirements. If you want some buttons, or if you don't want some buttons from the notification panel, you can quickly remove them. You can also disable the screen brightness adjustment bar that's available over here. So if you turn it off, you won't need to go back to it again and again. So now with the lock screen of the device, you can customize it quite a lot. So let's go into the lock screen features over here. You can turn on shortcuts, personal messages, multiple widgets in the lock screen. You can also change the unlock effect and also have a screen lock method that you would want. So if you want a pattern or a pin, you can have those things running out over there. So if I come into the lock screen now, you can see I have some shortcuts over here. I can also have some widgets that I want. So these are my favorites that I set up. I can get a weather widget over here and my events or calendar entries, and I can add custom widgets here as well. So I can choose from this list. I can also get Google Now, which is a good widget to have. Then again, if I'm simply scrolling or swiping through, I will be able to unlock the device. So if I'm here, this is my weather widget. I can get rid of it really easily. I can pull it back out. So it's fairly fantastic. I kind of like the way the main home screen lays out. Some people also like putting Flipboard over here, which is also easy to do. So if I hold this down and I put it into the remove option, I can come back here and then I can choose from Flipboard, I think, which I can't find anymore. But anyway, you can customize it according to your requirements. So if you want S health, for example, how many miles you have walked, you can go into that. So another thing you can do for the lock screen is you can set up the owner information. So you can leave in your name so that if somebody finds your phone, they can return it to you, provided you have the security information in there. So you can put in your name and a email address or a phone number if you're okay with that information. Go into personal message and edit my personal message. So now I get my personal message here. You can see my owner information shows up here. I can go into the right to go into my favorite apps. I can also change this to a camera. So if I want on the right side, I can have the camera show up, which is again customized from the lock screen settings over here. If you go into multiple widgets, you can choose whether you want favorite apps or the camera. Camera is, however, faster to load otherwise, so it takes a long time to load from the lock screen. So it is recommended that you either use a shortcut at the bottom over here, or you just simply unlock and then go into camera, which is easier than simply swiping right in some cases. Now, since the device is fairly large, not a lot of people can use the full device with one hand. So Samsung has included something which is called one-handed use into the device. So what it allows you to do is allows you to adjust one-handed use across all screens. So it will automatically change most screens for one-handed use according to your requirement. So if you scroll towards the right or you scroll towards the left, you can have the screens move in according to that requirement. So it's fairly easy. If I jump into the calculator real quick. So this is your calculator. You can turn on one-handed operation by going into one-handed operation mode. And similarly for the dialer, if you're in the dialer, you can simply scroll towards the left or scroll towards the right depending on what side you're holding the device from. So if you're holding the device from the right side, you can put the button on the right side. You can also turn off one-handed operation if you would continue to use the bigger buttons. Similarly in messages with the keyboard, you can have a one-handed operation on or off. I think you can have a one-handed operation from here as well. So you can choose to put it on the left or on the right of the screen according to your requirement. Again, you have to hold down on the settings button and then choose between the keyboard layout. Now you of course have a lot of gestures and features that you get in Control, and you should set those up according to your requirements. So you have Air Glance, you have Quick Jump, Air Browse, Air Call Accept, which are features that you can use according to your requirement. In Quick Glance, you should be able to see all your information when your device is laying down on the screen. So if I'm here, if I have any notifications, all I need to do is simply wave my hand across the screen and it'll give me a glance of all the things, including my battery life information, etc. over here. So that's called Quick Glance. For most of the other features, you can get for Air Jump, you can scroll between home pages similarly by scrolling through. It gives you an example over there. It can also be done in email messages, mostly for email messages. It says here for email messages. Air Browse is what works for gallery, music player, note, etc., which is when you scroll through those features. And then Air Call Accept, when your phone's ringing on the table, you can simply scroll your hand across and accept the phone call. It automatically goes into the speakerphone. So those are the air gesture features. Again, with Air View, you can turn on Air View mode for finger, auto, or pen. I like to keep it on auto. You also have some pen options that allow you to give you some information when you're in air view mode, and you can also go into air view finger options, so it allows you to do that. So with this mode now, you can have your finger in air view as well as your pen in air view, which is good. Another thing you can do is by going into controls, is by going into Air Command, you have some of these features that you can customize according to your pen, and it teaches you how to do these things according to the requirement. So while you're hovering over media content, if you press the pen button, you get a lot of available actions as well. So it's not only the Air Command feature that allows you to do things with your pen. You have other features within the device that will allow you to do things with the device as well. So you also have the standard motion settings, so you can direct call, smart alert, zoom into images if you want that. Really does not make any sense. It's not something that you use. Turn over to mute and pause can come in really handy. Palm motion to capture screenshots or mute or pause the screen. If you're using gloves, if you're in an environment which is fairly cold, if you're using gloves, you can turn on touch sensitivity, so you can use your device with gloves as well. So those are some of the features of the Galaxy Note 3. Quick tips and tricks that will help you going with the new Galaxy Note 3. So we'll be back with a full review of this device really soon, so stay tuned for that. If you have any questions or queries, do drop them in the comment section below. Do check out iGyan.in and catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube.